So this is my PPP update, and the payroll protection program application is closed, right? On August 8th, that was done. That was the same day the executive order come from Trump, and that was the same day. So this closed and Trump did executive order. And the simplified forgiveness process did not come through. And if you could recall, and there are rumors about, oh, if you got PPP under a certain amount, you don't have to apply at all. It is automatically forgiven. So that rumor is done because executive order didn't have it, and the bill, the Senate bill 4227 didn't pass through. So it is not there. So you don't have simplified forgiveness process. So the most simplified forgiveness process is what we have right now. SBA just recently updated forgiveness process on August 11, and SBA already accepting forgiveness application right now. But they're accepting it from the lenders, not from you. So each bank and the financial institution where you receive the PPP loan from will inform you when you can apply. You know, I'll tell you why they are not really out there to help you. They want you to wait. And you know that the government is no longer going to give the bank any more money for forgiveness process because the government SBA already paid 5% on the loan when they give you that PPP loan. The bank got paid 5% for whatever you are getting. Not exactly, but it was 5% to 3%, depends on the amount, right? So, but they got paid at that time. So now this forgiveness process, it is really, from the bank standpoint, their business too, they want that to be streamlined, easy, because they don't want to put all these manpowers on this, but not getting paid. So with that, every bank is working on a streamlined process. So it is very understandable. Your bank says to you that we're not ready yet and wait for me, and then you can apply online. Of course, if they can apply it online, it saves so many manpower, right? So that's what's happening. And your bank do not want you to send in the application yet, even though SBA is already approved, already started to approving it. So wait for your financial institution. And PPP loan, and if you don't get approved, if you just ended up borrowing that money, is 1%. The loan issued before June 5th will have maturity of 2 years. If it is after June 5th, it's 5 years. So what if you got that PPP and you before June 5th, and you can contact your bank, making amendment to the loan terms, making it 5 years, okay? And the loan payment will be deferred for 6 months, which means as soon as you start the loan process. So let's say you applied for forgiveness and a portion of it wasn't forgiven. You had $1,000 become a PPP loan. So that moment till 6 months time, there is no payment need to be made, 6 months deferral, okay? And no collateral personal guarantee are needed. So your credit score is not being reviewed. They're just gonna give that to you, and you're just gonna have the loan. So that's what the PPP loan terms is all about. The application of PPP loan application, there is a form called 3508. You know, by the time we reach December of this year, everybody will know what is 3508. 3508 has two types of forms. One is called easy, the other one is called regular. Okay, and if you ask me, okay, Ying, I just want you to tell me in one sentence, what's the difference between easy and the long form? So I will tell you that there is 3 conditions you need to meet in order to get to easy. If you're not easy, and you go to regular form. So that's really, there's no secret about it, and I'm going to cover that. So now let's take a look at the the two forms, 3508 easy, 3508 regular, so you can tell what exactly the difference is, okay? So now I'm going to 3508 easy. So this portion of information on the top, it is very simple. You can see that on my screen, it is 1 to 3 pages. So this is number 1 page. Number 2 pages is a whole bunch of confirmation. It's called representation and certification. So these are, you initial them, you sign them, you are done. This is easy. This is easy. And the 3rd page, you don't have to fill it up. You don't have to do anything with it. It is more of a demographic information. See, it says optional, so you don't have to do that. So your real job is really right here. And come on down to a real job. I want you to see what is easy. Easy means you got your PPP loan. Let's say it was 10,000. Okay, so it is easy because it is 10,000. So your PPP loan amount is 10,000. So that's what you're gonna put in here, 10,000. Okay, so now we start. So the easy is so easy that it asks you, what is your payroll cost? You say that, well, my payroll cost was 12,000. Okay, and then the rest of line 2, 3, and the 4, they're not payroll cost. They are related to the PPP loan. You can actually pay that loan on these items. Let's just assume that I don't have anything. Okay, now if I add, so it says that add amount 1, 2, 3, 4 together. So that gave me 12,000, right? And then payroll cost 60% requirement. So this is to say that you're divided line 1 by divide line 1 by 0.60. Line 1 is what? Is your payroll cost. So if I really use my calculator and I do 12,000 and divide by 0.60, so I come up with 20,000. And then here it says that your forgiveness amount is enter the smallest of line 5, 6, 7. So what is my line 5, 6, 7? Right here, 5, 6, 7, smallest. Which is smallest? Is my PPP loan amount is 10,000. So I received 10,000. After my easy form, I got 10,000. So I'm 100% forgiven. So this is the easy form. But let's look at the other one, the regular one. The regular one looks pretty similar, okay? The only difference is calculates which portion, and because you have a reduced salary, reduced FTE, or whatever happened from here to there. So I highlighted this section. This is all the section of the full application. In addition, this is the additional information the full application needed comparing to your easy form. Because when we were doing the easy form, we had payroll cost 12,000, and then here is the 10, then here is the 20, so we concluded 10, right? But now with this adjustment, that produces more form. So it come up with a Schedule A and a Schedule A worksheet. So this is the full form that you need to do. So if you are not qualified for easy and you will do the full form, all you were doing is that you come to the same form like the easy, you had additional information to fill in. You still certify those, you still sign right here, but this one is required, Schedule A. And Schedule A worksheet. Okay, so now we understand that to apply for PPP forgiveness, whether your bank gonna make it look like a pink form, blue form, they're gonna have a little creatures crawling on the form, they can make it pretty and easy as they want, but the principle is here. Nobody can go away from this application because this is what SBA wanted from every lender. So you will work with your bank. If you understand these forms, when you fill in the bank application online, it will be easy wheezy, okay? So that's why we talk about these forms, because that's what bank is doing. Bank really just computerize those cells for you so you can fill it in. You may not see the form, but they're asking the same numbers, same questions to you so that you can answer question. They can fill up that form for you. Okay, so this is where we mentioned about the form. So now let's look at who can use 3508 easy. So now we said that the forms are different. I just showed you how it was. Now we're going to talk about who qualifies for easy, because if you qualifies for easy, you don't even care about the long form anymore. And when you fill up the bank application, you know you're going to go straight to easy because you know you qualify, right? So that is so important for you to learn, to know. And the borrower can use 3508 easy application form if, number one, if you're self-employed and no employee was reported. And one, if you remember when you put in the application, if you used Schedule C, line 31 number in 2019 to come up with your PPP amount, you qualified for easy. If you use K1 from 1065, line 14 to apply for your PPP, then you qualify for easy. Okay, so this is where number one, that's how you qualify for easy. Number two, if you did not reduce employee salary and did not reduce number of employees by more than 25% comparing to January to February of 2020. Okay, so here, just kind of understand what I'm just saying. So we are comparing, not we are, the SBA, comparing what we are doing now to January, February of your 2020. If you keep your employee all employed and you did not reduce their salary and you did not reduce the number of employee, and you might be reduce their hours, but you're still paying them the same. They're still working, all right? And you qualify for easy. And the third one is very interesting, and you need to know, this is really important. The third kind of borrower also qualify for easy if they had a reduction in business due to COVID orders. What does that mean? COVID orders are not something you decided to close. It is the government require you to close, or you're in a certain industry that you just have to close, or you cannot open in full capacity because you have to keep social distancing. A good example I could think of is restaurant, and your sitting has to be 6 feet apart. Maybe you used to have 100 tables, now only become 40, right? So, and again, and did not reduce employee wages by more than 25% comparing to January to February 2020 period. So if your business is not doing good, reduced for COVID-19, and your wages, your salary, your money did not reduce, but you probably reduce the number of employees because, for example, if you have 5 part-time employee, and then you shrink that to be just you and your spouse because business is not good and you're just going to do it yourself. So you paid yourself wages, and as long as that wages total and it's still not less than 25, not more, let's say you were paying 1,000, now you are paying 750, that's okay. See, this one doesn't have a requirement on number of employees. You got it? So if you qualify any of the three, you don't have to qualify all of it. Any of the three, you can use easy. Then let me explain one more thing to you. Reduced FTE, so you got less people. You got less people because of the two reasons right here, and you can forgive yourself and it is not a problem. Number one, inability to rehire individuals who were employees of the borrower on February the 15th, 2020. So it says that on that moment of time, if you can, on that moment of time, you had those employees, let's say John Smith worked for you on February the 15th, 2020. And COVID come and he went on unemployment and you want to hire him back and he goes, no, I'm actually making more staying on unemployment. I'm not coming back, okay? And it says that inability to rehire individual and inability to rehire this individual, and when calculating the borrower's loan forgiveness amount, a borrower may exclude any reduction in full-time employees if is unable to hire in good faith. So that means you have a good reason. So for employee who says, well, I got more on the unemployment benefit, even if you hire me, I don't want to come back. If you document that, that is not your fault. So that reduction of employee is acceptable. It's not going to impact your calculation of loan forgiveness. Okay, and in Iowa, it is clearly stated that if you have people you offered a job and then they say they're not going because their money in the unemployment is bigger than the money that you give, and that need to be reported to workforce. What that means is the government don't want people to be on unemployment if they already have a job opportunity. And to some people, to some employees, they literally got more pay staying on unemployment versus working for a small business. If that ever happened, that's not your problem. It's not your employee problem either. That's a system problem. That's just what it is. So you can document that. So at least it doesn't bother you to apply for loan forgiveness. Okay, so I want to mention this. This applies to both easy and also to the long form. Make sure that you remember that. And the payroll cost, I said payroll cost, yes, and there's the three very often questions coming to the firm. So I want to answer that and tell you that yes, 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 that is okay. So the first one is that, so all the payroll cost is payroll cost in the covered period, right? We all understand what covered period is. That start from the day you receive the loan, that includes that day. And then 8 weeks or 24 weeks. If you were funded before June 5th, you can choose between 8 weeks to 24 weeks. And if you were funded after June 5th, you need to be on 24 weeks. So that is the covered period. And here it says that, let's say my covered period start from June 5th, and I have wages, I have salary that I already paid, but came out, I have my, in this case, it will be when the cost is outside of your covered period. but the pay reason is within your covered period. For example, if you have an employee who worked for you during the covered period, but the payment didn't go out until the covered period is over, okay, for whatever reason, maybe employee had a bad bank account, so it took you a little long to pay, and maybe the covered period, when it's finished, the payroll hasn't even come out yet, and whatever reason that is, as long as it's outside of your covered period, but it is generated within the covered period, then you can deduct, you can count that as a payroll cost. So that is one clarification. The other clarification is that if it is something you pay within the covered period, but it is actually representing the whole year of 2019. For example, your 401k match. Your 401k match is sort of due in the summer. So you paid it for $100,000 you paid out, okay, to the 401k match. It is, of course, calculated based on the whole year result, but you pay that lump sum in the covered period, you can count that as your payroll cost. Then cash compensation. So if you earn tips, so your people who earn tips, and so how do you count the payroll cost? That full tip amount, okay? That whole cash amount can be counted. So cash compensation like tips use gross amount when calculate payroll cost. Got it? So we have this 3 clarification. Just want you to know that if it is generated within the payroll covered period, then it paid outside of covered period, you can bring it back. If it is paid in the covered period before, you can, for example, 401k, this type of expenses, you can include that as a payroll cost. And if it is a cash compensation, the whole amount is included in payroll cost, okay? All right. So allowable payroll cost, and really quickly, so salary, wages, and other cash compensation. See, like just like what I mentioned, healthcare cost for non-owner employees of sole proprietor means that if you are sole proprietor, you are the owner, your healthcare doesn't count. But what if you hire someone, that person you pay for healthcare? Yes, that counts. And for all employees of a C Corp, and that counts, okay? And S Corp as well, as long as it's not paid to the owner. Retirement contribution for non-owner employee of a sole proprietor partnership, retirement contribution for all employees of a S Corp and C Corp. So these are available payroll cost. So payroll cost includes the salary, wages, health insurance, and 401k retirement. But health insurance 401k is all kind of excluding the owner, and payroll salary includes the owner, okay? Now, required document. This is really, really important, because once you finish your package of the PPP loan application, and or when you go online to start filling in the application, and at the end you finish, you certify and you sign, and this record you have, if your financial institution don't ask you to submit, you need to have that for 6 years. It's important. You have to keep it for 6 years. Maybe it is really depends on the financial institution. Some of them would ask for it, some of them will not. And just like when we did application, is all over the place, and people, you know, some bank is easier, some bank is harder. So you just go by what the bank require you to do, right? And in here, the forgiveness calculation form. So of course that form you fill up, whether it is easy or a full form, remember that one you need to keep, right? That 3508. Schedule A, that breaks down the payroll cost you need to keep. payroll document for the 24 weeks or 8 weeks, if you did 8 weeks, payroll document. What are the payroll document? That is a bank account statements, third-party payroll processor report, 941 report, state UI report, payment receipt, cancel check, accounting statement documents, employer payment to health insurance, and the retirement. It is everything that you do payroll and need to show up here. So you want to make sure that you have all of that document properly saved, properly prepared, so you can send it in when the bank is asking you for information. Documents showing FTE prior to COVID-19, that is required too. They want to know what you did in January and February. So you want, because that's your base, right? We're comparing to it. Whether you keep the salary the same or not, we were comparing to it. So you want to keep that. In the sole proprietor case, we use the Schedule C, line 31. So we got to have that taxes there and to prove it, right? So that is required. Non-payroll item like mortgage interest, rent, utility, proof of prior obligation, proof of payment. So you can't be like, oh yeah, my rent, you used to pay $2,000, now it's suddenly become $20,000 a month because you just want to use up your PPP. So what they want you to do is they want you to show prior obligation, maybe what you paid before or your lease agreement. So whatever that indicates what you have before plus your new one. Okay, so that is where those documents requirement comes in for PPP, and I hope you take a picture of that or go on to YouTube to really learn what we have out there. And because I really think that these knowledge, it is so critical, and you have to know them. You have to know these knowledge before you submit your PPP application. I want to tell you that every time when we go through these type of compliance, and there are people, there will be people who totally fail it. And if you are serious about your business and making sure that you're getting your PPP properly forgiven, and you want to be diligent for your preparation of that application, and as soon as you use up your PPP dollars, you can apply for forgiveness, but not in all the cases because the lenders are not available, not accepting that yet. So a lot of you are kind of sitting around waiting because you're ready, but your bank is not ready. Very normal. And you just want to wait until your bank is ready. And you have up to 10 months to do it, even after your 24 weeks is done. So after your 24 weeks is done, 10 months time to get that forgiven. So you do have a way to get it in. So I want to make sure that you understand your right so you can deal with this properly. Then now let's just take a look at the couple of website, and I pull up. I want you to look at this with me. So we were here because this is the full form of PPP application. And this one, I still highlighted here because this is the only difference between the full one and versus the easy one. But you can see that in here, there's a lot of reference about Schedule A, line 30, Schedule A, line 3. Okay, it talk about Schedule A because the Schedule A is right here. The Schedule A is to calculate, see, it has the PPP worksheet. This one is calculating your shortage of payroll and the time. And to assist you on here, it tells you that to go to Schedule A worksheet. So it is kind of one form kind of connected to another. So you really should start. If you are doing the full application, you will start from here. And what I suspect is that the bank the bank will come in, their program will come in first, ask you the 3 questions I was asking you. Remember I said that those 3 cases you will qualify for easy. So when you go to the bank to do the PPP application, the bank screen will give you those 3 questions. They ask you whether you're qualified for easy. So any one of the 3 you checked, and you will automatically go to easy, then you don't even see this Schedule A worksheet at all. You don't see it, okay? But if you didn't check any of the 3, you automatically goes to full form, then you will start from here. That means you start with your employee name and your cash compensation, your average FTE. So maybe this employee only works 25% of time, so you will put 0.25. And then your salary wages, that reduction means how much you reduce. So you will do this. If you happen to have 50, 60 employees, I'm telling you that's a full-time job for a week. So that's a lot of work to do. But this is where I am saying that you need to know those 3 questions. So here you go. I brought up this one because I know the bank is going to use these questions on you to decide whether it's an easy form or is a regular forgiveness application. And these are real, these are languages that SBA provided to the bank. So they will talk like that. And you can tell that you need to check one of these boxes. This 3 is kind of mirror what I was on my slide earlier. Let me just go to my slide. On my slide earlier, remember we talked about the 3 right here. This is the 3 I was talking about, but this 3 really meant this 3. Okay, that was my interpretation of SBA document. And I think, you know, like I said, I speak English really plainly. I don't have big words. So my English is actually English. So it's, you know, I hope that helps you actually. And now, so much about PPP, I'm going to cover EIDL loan for the remainder of the time. So let's just take a look at my EIDL loan, the slide I prepared. So EIDL loan, by the way, on the bottom of the screen, you can post questions for me. When I finish EIDL loan, I go back there to see whether there's any questions that I can answer for you. And I want to make sure that we take care of you as much as you can, as much as I can. I mean, but of course is you can, because you have to study so you can take care of yourself. Here, EIDL loan. And I want to tell you that the EIDL loan in the early time had this grant, $10,000 grant. That grant was meant to give to everybody for $10,000, but in the midstream, and SBA got really nervous about their funding, so they reduced that. They reduced down to $1,000 per employee. So if your business is big enough, has more than 10 employees, you got $10,000. But if you are just 2-3 people, you got $2,000-3,000. And there is a Senate bill, I think it's 4227, and it's actually asking SBA to pay the other balance back to everybody. So nobody need to apply anymore. If you got 3,000, they're supposed to give you another 7,000. Unfortunately, that didn't get passed. So but got a lot of people very excited and thinking that, oh wow, I'm going to get 10,000, especially for the small sole proprietor 1065 K1 folks, because you only got 1,000. And can you imagine they give you another 9,000? That would be great, right? So that one is still pending, and I don't think is the end of the bill yet. They will be brought up, and I mean, election is here, so we will see who treat the small business better, so who get voted. So I'm pretty sure someone will push that out. But for now, we don't have that anymore. And SBA had this EIDL loan, and only for the loan, no more advance, no more that grant. So, and just to quickly summarize the EIDL loan, and it is online, so you can apply that online, and I will show you on the website once I finish my slides. And here, the EIDL loan has the following key terms, and I want you to remember. The amount you can get from EIDL loan is from 1,000 all the way to 2 million. A lot of people were kind of capped for 150,000 and they don't give you more. But you know that you can request for more and you have 2 years to do that. So, you know, if you just got 150,000, you knew it's not enough, I would make a case to go back and to ask for more, okay? You are entitled for up to 2 million. And they didn't use up the fund, by the way, and they still have so much money left. And the interest rate is 3.75%, 2.75% for nonprofit, and SBA running credit checks. Yes, they do. And remember the PPP loan, they don't have credit checks, but this one they do. And the loan is repayable over 30 years. So the monthly payment is very manageable. So for someone who got $150,000, let's say on August 1st, they don't have to pay that $150,000 back at all till the August 1st of 2021. So starting from August 1st, 2021, their monthly payment would be $760, okay? Of course, that goes on for 30 years. So, but know that if you get anything under $200,000, there is no personal guarantee at all. So your personal, you're not going to be affected if your business went belly up and you just couldn't pay it anymore. That's not going to go on to your credit report. It's not, it is your business's deal, it's not yours. And the only collateral they put on, if you only got 25,000, you don't even have any collateral. It is really a, like, well, it's even better than consumer loan because it is no collateral. It's just a loan that you borrow. If you can't pay, you can't pay. Oh, well. And, but if it is above 25,000, up to 200,000, there is only business property, and there's only business asset to collateralize, not business real estate. So let's say if you run a restaurant, you own that restaurant building, and then your collateral to the SBA money between 25,000 to 200,000, it is only your stove head, your ventilation, and your tables and chairs, not the building. Okay, so that is what collateral is for EIDL loan. But if you borrow more than 200,000, personal guarantee is required. The loan is so where I am, the loan is repayable over 30 years. Any payment is deferred for a year. So deferred for a year, just like my example says, you start next year to pay. And the loan is repayable at any time without penalty. Means, you know, when you borrow money from the bank and they would give you like a prepayment penalty if you pay your loan out early. I literally have a client who paid out the loan early because they sold the property. Then that penalty was like 24,000, a lot of money. I sometimes think that just for that, I'm not going to sell the property. But of course, the client had a reason to sell, but they paid a lot of prepayment penalty. And here, this loan, you can pay off anytime, no prepayment penalty. And the same thing, loan over 25,000 may require collateral. Loan over 200,000 may require personal guarantee. Unlike PPP loan, EIDL loan are not forgivable. Not forgivable, okay? So you have to pay it back. Well, if your company filed bankruptcy, that's a different story. And, you know, bankruptcy is a way for people to have a brand new start. So whatever loan, as long as it's not personal guaranteed, or even personal guaranteed, you file personal bankruptcy plus company bankruptcy, and you are clean everything out. So we actually, in our webinar, we have so many knowledge we're sharing. We talk about estate planning, bankruptcy. Just search our videos and you will learn a lot. Like I said, if you are getting really confused with all these informations on internet, and it might just as well focus on one place. So you subscribe to our video, to our channel, and whenever we post something, even if today you didn't have time to join me, but you thought, well, I want to know what Ying was talking about last Saturday, and you'll find me there. And we really try to be available. And we got so many inquiries in a day, and we want to be able to guide you. Sometimes client come over and they say, what is the executive order update, Ying? And I would guide them into the YouTube channel we have them listen to me over there. So that way I can give my time to folks that who absolutely cannot find answer on internet, right? And the other slide I have related to EIDL loan is these important information. If you run into issues for EIDL loan, and did you see those email I gave you right here? And I really want you to write it down, because look at this, SBA Customer Service Center representative available 7 days a week. Okay, we just have 7 days a week, 8 to 8. Come on, and you should call them. And if you have any problem, you should call them, bother them, because what happens is when you call, and they are actually will, even if they don't have an answer, you know that you know you couldn't get it done, but you will have someone online and to help you. And at one time, I was so desperate with a case, and I call. So the lady come online and couldn't resolve my questions for my client, and then she was telling me to pray to God, and this will be okay, and which I did, and it was really okay. So maybe the advice is a very good advice. And here, the email disaster customer service at sba.gov, and you email that, and if your question that representative cannot answer you, ask for tier 2 representative. Same thing, when you got on the phone and they can't tell you anything, you tell them that you like to have a tier 2 representative to help you, and they understand what that means. And then if your issue is just complex, for example, and you got a loan for 150,000, just totally not enough. You were asking for 1.5 million, okay? So they only give you what, fraction of it, and you don't care to have that 150, and you absolutely need 1.5. 150 not gonna help, and you're still gonna be in dilemma. So I would just email that Massachusetts deal at sba.gov, and there someone will come on board and help you. And with that, I want to show you and where to go to get the SBA's EIDL loan applied. So here, I came to sba.gov page and the disaster loan application, okay? You ask me how I got here. I mean, let's just try how we get there. SBA. Don't know how to type sometimes. So now I'm here. So I'm going to look for funding programs and disaster assistance, apply for assistance. I'm not sure this is COVID related, so I'm going to go to COVID related disaster. COVID related, I'm going to click this one. Okay, I want to do COVID related because there's other disasters, you know, just like the tornado we had lately, and actually killed my truck completely. And so it's a disaster. But here, now accepting new applications for economic injury disaster loans, and you open it up, and the COVID loan application, apply right here. So you got over here. All right, so this is where you got to look for this, okay? You look for COVID-19 economic injury disaster loan. So that is where you're gonna apply, and you have up to the end of September. And this program reopened right now, so up to September you can still apply. So this will give you that 150,000, you know, from 1,000 to 200,000 EIDL loan.